Welcome to the interview. And why don't you start up with your experiences and what you're targeting at?
Kumar. I have worked on multiple number of DevOps tools like container services, Docker, on container orchestration deployment tool like Kubernetes, and configuration management tool like Ansible, and pipeline Jenkins. And I also am having better experience on AWS services like compute services, storage services, database services. So these are all services I have worked so far.
And how much total experience that you have?
Yeah, 10 years.
You have 10 years of experience. And how
Yeah,
much in
yeah,
DevOps?
yeah, 5 years.
You worked for 5 years. I can see
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you have worked on some of the large enterprises across. So, and your role has been mentioned as a system administrator and then DevOps engineer and
Yeah,
AWS DevOps engineer. Can you highlight on what were your roles and responsibilities?
yeah, right. Myself, we are working on multiple number of projects actually. So one project we have started from the scratch. So we are already there is a physical infra, existing physical infra is there. So we are migrating into the cloud by using the Terraform. So there we have started, it's the process going on, the infrastructure building, and the other thing already the infrastructure was completely migrated into the cloud actually. So we are creating a pipelines to change, to update the versions and to update the deployment versions. So there are whatever the changes we are going to do in the project, we are going to make it we are going to make it a pipeline, and we are maintaining multiple number of clusters for each and every individual branch. So in the branching strategy, what you're following. So except of the feature branch, for remaining branches, we are maintaining clusters. So whatever the modifications and things what we are making, what we are going to make it in the application. So we are going to trigger a pipeline. So we are going to grab the image update tag number. So we are going to make the update in the deployment cluster. So these are the regular things we are going to make it. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me what is the team size that you're working in?
Yeah, we are working on total three number of projects. So we are having topics in our organization. So my team size of 6 members. So in that on daily basis we are going to make it up for resource allocation and giving access for the people into the cluster. So creating a number of resources which are required for the developers and test for it, and creating a separate testing environment. So these are all those things we are going to make it on the regular basis.
So now you mentioned infrastructure as code and you worked on Terraform. Can you tell
Yeah.
me a specific scenario where you utilized Terraform for creating infrastructure and how did you contribute to the reliability and scalability?
Yeah, right. So whenever we are migrating into the infrastructure, first of all, our basic thing when you are writing it from the scratch, we will start with VPC or private subnets. Anyway, we are making that application or service we are going to run on the private subnet. So because of that, what we are going to do means we are making some game in one other server in public subnet. We are making rest of the applications where the server is where we are going to post an application. That servers we are going to make it on the private subnet. So this is the regular strategy we are going to follow. And anyway, we are making that private subnets to be available with the load balancer. Anyway, we are running that load balancer in the public subnet. So in that way, we are making our application much more secure from the day one onwards. So later on, we are going to launch and configuration further. So by making an auto scaling group. So based on the requirement and the profit. So first we are going to start it from the auto scaling group. Then we are making that instances to be available on the private subnet. And I'm going to configure that instances with another server, which is not, which we are not making to be available on the application. So that's we are making that temp file in that a server, and we are going to communicate with other servers which are in private subnet. I am going to configure other servers which are there in private subnet with this gaming server. So in this way, we are going to start the basic the platform for the infrastructure.
Okay. And how comfortable are you writing the Terraform scripts yourself?
Yeah, right. So basic starting from the routing tables and associations. Of course, I was much more. I have written many number of scripts for the Terraform. So I can rate myself out of five, 4-star rating for the out of five. writing
Okay.
Terraform script.
And I see that you have also worked on CI/CD and you've used Jenkins.
Yeah, of course. We are
Okay.
using Jenkins pipeline.
Can you tell me a scenario where you had to optimize a Jenkins pipeline for a complex application, and what strategies did you use?
Yeah, right. So previously, for any other applications, previously we are going to start it from the triggering of from uh, uh, GitOps for deployment, and we are using like triggering platform. We are going to make it from the GitHub. So from that, we are going to, if whatever the changes, we are going to do it for the branching environment. So from that, our branching strategy will start, and from we are going to make that to be available in Jenkins pipeline. So from there, going to be included and other things, static coding, testing, static analysis of coding. These are all the things. And later on, we are going to check with the dependency check. So in this way, we are maintaining the separate repositories for integration and deployment. So whatever changes we are going to identify in that. So, so recently we have updated with an automation tool like Argo CD. So this Argo CD, what it will, when I'm going to make this operator as an Kubernetes, this operator will identify that whatever the changes we are doing in the repository. So immediately it will identify the change from the integration repository. Then it will update the same changes in the deployment. So for example, whatever the changes we have done, it anyway we are going to make it through the environmental variable with image tag. So the same image tag I am going to update within the deployment YAML file. So that automatically whatever the changes we are making in the code committing into the integration repository, I'm going to grab that through the, I'm going to get it from the image tag through an environmental variable. I'm going to tag and Docker image with that image tag, and I'm going to make the deployment. So in this way, we have automated the process. So whatever changes we are making, we are converting into the, of course, we are making the same changes in the deployment as well.
Okay. And can you tell me something about any DevSecOps integration that you've done?
Yeah. So actually, previously, what we have said about security things. So we are making and dependency checks. We are involving in the pipeline. So as well, some static code analysis also we are doing through the Sonar Cube. And as well as we are making image scanning with Trivi tool. We are making that image scanning, and we are saving the reports as well. And along with that, there are multiple number of things we are going to involve, like for example. If there is in the deployment cluster itself, I can make kubesec. So there is a tool called kubesec, which is going to scan the entire cluster. So it is going to scanning the root folder of the cluster. So like that, there are many available options we can make to add much more security things. But anyway, our cluster is much more secure. Why? Because so we are more focused on the role-based authentication. So we are giving more importance for authentications and authorizations. So people who are going having the access in the cluster, we are going to decide the roles for them and going to make a role binding for them. So in this way, I'm going to add much more security for the cluster. And as well, along with that, I'm also making much more things to be available, like making secrets. So if you're migrating into the cloud, I can make that secrets to be available in AWS Secret Manager.